Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and we're taking a look today at the low-end portable SSD from WD. This is the My Passport Go SSD. This starts at around $79 for a 500 gigabyte version. That's the one we're looking at today. And it's got everything self-contained, including the cable, so you don't need to worry about bringing extra cables with you, and you get the robustness of a solid-state drive and all of the ruggedness that comes along with it. We're going to take a look and see what this drive is all about and how it compares to some other drives that cost just a little bit more in WD's lineup here in just a second. But I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, this came in free of charge through the Amazon Vine program. However, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Nobody is paying for this review, nor has anyone reviewed or approved what you're about to see before it was uploaded. And I should also mention that WD is a past sponsor on the channel. However, they are not sponsoring this video. So let's get into it now and see what this drive is all about. So let's take a closer look now at the hardware. This is an all-plastic design, nothing spectacular there. It's pretty lightweight as a result. They do have a rubberized border here around the drive to provide some shock absorption. Now, solid-state drives have a couple of advantages over a spinning drive. One is that they are more rugged because there are no moving parts inside. If you were to fling this across the room, there's a very good chance it will still continue to work. You may not have those odds with a spinning drive. Another advantage is performance. Solid-state drives spin up faster, so you don't have to wait for the platter to start spinning on the drive. As a result, they're quieter and they can move data back and forth a lot faster than a spinning drive equivalent. However, what you're going to see in a few minutes with this drive is that it is not much faster than traditional spinning drives when it comes to writing data to them, and we'll be exploring some of the performance issues that I experienced with this in a few minutes. Now, the cable for the drive is built into the back of the casing here. It's kind of a nice design. So there's room for your finger here to pop out the cable, but this is all of the cable length that you'll get. They did very smartly provide a little path for the cable here so it will sit flat on the surface of a desk while you're using it. But it doesn't support USB-C out of the box here, so you'll need to get an adapter if your laptop has one of the newer USB-C ports on it. But if you're using an older desktop computer or a laptop with full-size USB cables, you won't need anything else to get running with it because it simply plugs in and gets powered by your computer when it is attached. Now, this is available in two different colors. You got the yellow one here along with a blue one. It's also got two capacities, 500 gigs for, again, $80 or 1 terabyte for $160. And you might be saying to yourself, why would you spend so much money on a hard drive when you can get something like WD's mechanical passport drive here with 4 terabytes for only $99? And really what it comes down to is that when you choose an SSD, you are trading the key advantages here, performance and ruggedness, for capacity. So if capacity is more important to you and you're confident that you're not going to drop your hard drive all that often, then getting a mechanical drive is probably the better choice. Just know that it will be slower than what you'll get out of the SSD, and again, more likely to be damaged. Another thing that I like about SSDs is that they don't make any noise. So if you're going to set this up as a time machine drive for your Mac, or you're going to use it on your Windows machine to do automatic backups, you will not hear it running as it's doing those backups. They are completely silent versus the spinning drives that will have a platter spin up and then, of course, the noise of the head moving around as it reads and writes data. You'll have no noise with these, but you do pay a price premium for some of the features that these bring. So let's take a look now at some of the performance issues I'm seeing with this drive. What we're running right now is a BlackMagic disk speed test on my MacBook Pro. I did have to use a USB Type-C adapter to get the drive attached, and you'll see the write speeds here are pretty much at about 100 to 120 megabytes per second. That's probably going to do a little better than what you would see with a cheap mechanical drive, but far less than what we've tested with other portable SSDs that we have looked at here on the channel. Typically, we see performance at well over 300 megabytes per second, even on inexpensive solid-state drives. The reads on this one are doing better. So we're reading data out at about 408 megabytes per second, but as you can see here, the write performance is quite low. So as a result, I really can't recommend this drive for write-intensive applications. That includes video editing and especially video capturing, photo editing, and just about anything else where you're copying or moving large volumes of data to the drive. The write speeds here are just too slow. especially for a solid state disk, and it really surprised me by how slow they were. And you can also pick up drives from WD for only about $10 more that perform a lot better. Their My Passport SSD, not the Go version, does much better than this one. We reviewed that one a little while back. I also looked at their SanDisk 500 gigabyte Extreme Portable. That one did better too. Again, also about $10 more. So I think if you can swing an extra 10 bucks, go with the higher end versions in WD's lineup because they will deliver 3 or 4 times the write performance for only 10 bucks at the same capacity. You really can't beat that. And we also tested this on my gaming PC upstairs with the Crystal Diskmark test. We connected it directly because I do have a regular USB 3 connector on the back of that motherboard. It's a Maximus 11 Republic of Gaming motherboard from Asus along with an i9 9900K processor. We'll pull the results up here on screen so you can see how it did. So the reads on that one were a little bit slower than what we just saw on the Mac here. Writes were about the same. You can also see that it did okay, I guess, with some of the random reads and writes. The random reads here did better at 51 megabytes per second on the 2 multi-threaded tests and about 6.2 megabytes per second on the multi-threaded random writes. So again, not terribly quick here and always faster on the reads than they are on the writes. So overall, I'm having a hard time recommending this drive at its current price. And that's because you can get so much better performance out of other WD drives for only a couple of dollars more. So if this one was maybe $20 or $30 less expensive, I think I could recommend it as something that you have running in the background for backups and that sort of thing where write performance isn't all that important. But for another 10 bucks, you get a drive that does well as a backup drive and as a video editing drive or whatever else you want to do with it. This one, I think, just isn't priced correctly for what its performance provides. Until next time, this is Lon.TV. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold-level supporters, the 4 Guys with Quarters podcast, Chris Allegretta, Tom Albrecht, Mike Talbert, Brian Parker, and Kalyan Kumar. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/s.